Hey guys, my name is Zach and this is GG Fistbump. In this video, I'll be giving my personal experience of what it's like to own a PS5 Digital Edition. Should you be choosing this over the Disc Edition? I'll be giving the pros and cons of owning one, and hopefully, it'll help you decide if you'd pursue a Disc Edition or a Digital Edition of the PS5. Now before we begin, roll the intro. For those who are new to my channel, it would really help if you would click on subscribe, then hit on that notification bell to stay up to date with my latest videos. I'm from the Philippines, and in this channel, I generally talk about video games. So initially when the PS5 was first announced, with Sony showing two versions of the PS5, one with the disc and another all digital, I immediately thought of getting the disc edition. Although the digital edition was 4,000 pesos cheaper, being priced at 23,990 pesos versus the disc edition's 27,990 pesos, I thought that being a used or a second-hand game buyer, like what I've been during my time with the PS4, I would be saving on games more in the long run. I mean, right now, if you take a look at your local Facebook marketplace groups, a lot of brand new or moderately used games are being sold much lower than mall prices, especially since stores right now are forcing bundles before you get a console. You wouldn't even need to wait for PSN store sales or promos just to get games cheap, because a lot of people are trying to dispose the games they don't want from the bundle they got. But even if I couldn't buy used games anymore, it turns out I'm still able to save a lot with the digital PS5.
Nice.
Now, like I've said, I've never planned in buying a digital PS5. But several months after the PS5's launch, the console remained scarce. So I decided that as long as I can get it at a reasonable bundle price from official stores instead from scalpers, I would be grabbing the one that would be available. Anyway, the specs of both the PS5 Digital and the PS5 Disc are the same. It's not like the Xbox Series X and S, where the S is underpowered compared to the X. The only difference between both consoles is that the PS5 Digital doesn't have a disc tray. So 11 months after launch on November 2021, I was finally able to secure a pre-order slot, but it was for my less preferred version, the PS5 Digital Edition. But what the heck? I thought that if I was unsatisfied, I can always sell this and go for the Disc Edition once I get my hands on one. Fast forward to now, and what I can say is I've already enjoyed the PS5 Digital Edition. So let me share the pros of owning this version of the PS5. First off, let me address the notion that I wouldn't be able to get games cheap because I wouldn't be able to buy used games. While it's true that I won't be able to buy used physical disc, there are other alternatives to playing games cheap, and that is through renting games from other players via game sharing. To give you an idea of how it works, basically you'd first look for someone offering PS5 digital game rentals. If a game is available, all you have to do is to log on to the PSN account of the lender and then go to his or her library. You'll find the game there. Afterwards, just go ahead and download it, and then you'd be able to play the game on your console. In the Philippines, a month's rent would only cost maybe 1/3 to 1/5 of a full-price game. Some would even offer it in 1 to 2 week durations, which would be perfect for games with 10-hour length or less. I personally offer this service in my Facebook page, GG Fistbump with Zach, but there are other PS5 digital rental pages like Basang Media's Video Game Rental or Daryl's Digital Store. You can save time from going out to get the game, and it also lessens the hassle of you going out again to sell the game once you finish it. Of course, if you want to own the game long term, you can always wait for a PlayStation Store sale. It doesn't take a full year until games get discounts, so you might just want to wait and play something else in the meantime. It would lessen your backlogs because you wouldn't immediately rush to buy a game at full price. But if you want to play a new game right away, you can always rent like I previously mentioned. Another benefit that I like about the PS5 Digital is that it's a space saver. I constantly move my PS5 from one house to another, from where I'm staying during the weekends for work to going home for the weekends and vice versa. All I need is my Dobby bag to fit the PS5 in, and I wouldn't need to worry about bringing physical disc. This is also helpful if you're living in a limited space like a condo unit, because the disc won't be piling up. Switching from one game to another is also quicker on the PS5 Digital, because you wouldn't need to switch discs just to play another game. Now let's talk about the PS5 storage. Another misconception is that if you buy the Disc Edition, you'll be saving on PS5 storage because you already have the games on disc. And if you get the digital, you'd fill the console space right away because the full game would need to be installed. With games getting bigger and bigger, and as you grow your collection, the console's 667GB usable storage wouldn't be enough.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Well, the truth is, whether you have the disc or the digital version of the game, both will still consume the same amount of space on your PS5. Let's have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade as an example, which has a 90GB size. If you bought the disc, you'd need to have that amount of space in order to install the game first before playing it. Since you had the disc, you wouldn't need an internet connection already to install. You can do this offline. After installation, you'd still need the disc to access the game. Meanwhile, if you buy the digital version, you'd have to download the game instead, which would still take the same amount of space. This might take forever if you have a slow internet, but if you have fast download speeds, then the wait wouldn't take too long. So again, just as a PSA, disc-based PS5 games will use the same storage space as digital downloads. If you want to expand the storage, you can always use an external hard drive for PS4 games, or you can also install an extra M.2 SSD with heatsink for PS5 games. Now let's talk about the cons of having a PS5 Digital Edition. Well, if you're a collector of physical games, you wouldn't be able to play those on the PS5 Digital, which makes sense because you have a digital-only console. You can't buy or sell used games in order to save, but as I've said, you can always look into game sharing. Next, if you have a slow internet, games might take long hours to download given the size of the files. So you might consider the standard PS5 instead. And finally, one con I can think of for the digital edition is that several years down the road, way past the lifetime of the console, support for the PlayStation Store of the PS5 may shut down. Of course, that will take a long time, with the PS5 already past its prime. By then, most wouldn't probably keep the console already. This has been the case for the PS3 and the PS Vita stores, which had reports of the service shutting down. But then again, nowadays, not a whole lot of people pick up the PS3. And if they do, most would just do it for nostalgia's sake. So if the PS5 stores would do shut down, most people would probably have their attention already to the newest consoles, like a PlayStation 7, or whatever PlayStation calls itself in the next generation of consoles. So guys, those are the pros and the cons of having the PS5 Digital Edition. How about you? Do you still prefer the PS5 disc instead? Just leave it in the comments down below. And with that, I think we're done. If you found this video helpful, interesting, or entertaining, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, then hit that notification bell for more content just like this. Thank you again for watching. Again, I'm Zach, and this is GG Fistbump.